Do you think that the Supreme Court, as it's made up now, do you think that Amy Coney Barrett and Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh owe it to Donald Trump to find a ruling, let's say in this 14th Amendment case where some states are trying to keep him off the ballot?
Yes, I do. I think they do owe him because, I mean, they're there because of him. And I think that would be the right thing to do, considering that, you know, all these things against him are nonsense.
That's not how courts are supposed to work. That's how the mob works. But these people in Trump think that this is the way it should go.
And the Republican judges want to go out of their way to be fair and unbiased, and even to a point where they hurt you. And I guess it's a different wiring system or something. But all I want is fair. I fought really hard to get 3 very, very good people, and they're great people, very smart people. And I just hope that they're going to be fair because, you know, the other side plays the ref, like Bobby Knight, the great Bobby Knight.
I love seeing low energy Trump. That's when the Adderall has worn off and he's just kind of petering out there. And he wants the judges to be fair. Yeah, this guy, the most unfair person in the world, the person who lost an election, said, I didn't lose the election. The person who's cheated his whole life is hoping the judges will be fair. Well, his own followers believe it.
Do you think President Biden won the election?
No.
Do you think President Biden won the election?
Absolutely not.
Really? And what would it take for you to believe that? Like the courts went through it, the Congress went through it.
I don't trust any of them, unfortunately.
But if Trump had won, would you have believed the election?
Absolutely, because he did win.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So why would you believe that and not the other?
Because, again, he's not being controlled. He's the first president that has stood up and said, I am not following the deep state. I am making my own decisions. And therefore, they don't want him in office. He got backlash for it.
I wouldn't expect young people to be so gullible when it comes to Trump, but I guess they are. And I guess if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're going to twist and turn and do some mental gymnastics to make everything make sense. So if Trump had won, he won fairly. Since Biden won, he didn't win fairly. And even though the court said that Trump lost, they were part of somehow the conspiracy. And then when other court decisions are made, like the abortion case, this is what they say.
What do you think of the Dobbs decision that overturned Roe v. Wade?
I'm anti-abortion, so I'm all about it.
So do you think that was a fair decision by the court?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, those were a lot of Trump appointees, 3 of them on there. Is that fair?
It's fair.
Why is it fair for that decision, but not for the election and for some of these other courts?
Because they've proven the election was stolen. They have all the documentation. And
that's what I'm saying, but they haven't proven it, right? I mean, to the court.
Okay. That's what people say, but I believe otherwise. And I'm anti-abortion. I'm pro-God. I'm pro-life. And I feel that, you know, Trump is the same.
So there we go. If the decision goes their way, they're totally into it. What a great Supreme Court. If the decision doesn't go their way, then the court is wrong. And not just Supreme Court, all courts. If the election goes their way, it was fair. If it doesn't go their way, it's unfair. First of all, let's go to the election real quickly. Is it possible? Is it at all possible in these numbnuts' minds that enough people did not like Donald Trump that they came out and they voted against him in 2020? Is it possible? I'm not saying people all loved Biden, but let's not forget what Donald Trump had done. He had led us poorly through the coronavirus, where he said, inject bleach into your system. He said the virus is just going to go away. He mismanaged a lot of stuff that led to many, many deaths in America. So let's start with that. He had tried to overthrow the government after the election, but he had been leading into that world of following and supporting white supremacy. So we see that. He had already been impeached once going into the election for trying to get Ukraine to find dirt on his political opponent. He had done a lot of stuff that was not good for America. He said he's going to build a wall. Mexico's going to pay for it. That did not happen. He got a tax break that ultimately ended up helping the wealthy. He had mismanaged a lot of stuff. He put, kids in cages. He was constantly causing conflict between just Americans in general. So he'd done a lot of bad stuff, which probably was one of the reasons why a lot of people showed up and voted against him on election day, and he lost in 2020. And yet these people still would not admit it. They go, there's a deep state, something, this, that, the other, blah, blah, blah. Because Trump has told them that's what's happened, is that the deep state's trying to stop him because he's the guy who, by the way, remember he was supposed to go after child predators and all that stuff. This was all QAnon stuff that now has been normalized in the MAGA world. They think that Donald Trump is some kind of savior, when in reality, he's a narcissist. He's a sexual predator himself. He's been convicted of that, or found guilty and had to pay. He is selfish. He made a lot of money off of his presidency. He's just one of the worst human beings ever. And yet he's convinced these people that he cares for them, so they defend him. Now let's go to the court cases. The court cases, there's the one that's pending right now in front of the Supreme Court where Colorado had kicked him off the ballot. Most likely, the Supreme Court is going to vote to allow Donald Trump to remain on the ballot. And that's got a lot of reasons that the court will explain. And most likely, some of the Democrat appointed judges will side with the Republicans to say that his name should remain on the ballot. But the bigger one that we got to look at is this one of, is Donald Trump above the law? Should he be tried in court? Which is what they're arguing right now, because Jack Smith is going after him for having been the person that was behind the insurrection. And so the question becomes, will the Supreme Court take that case? Because the district court in D.C. said that you're not above the law, that a president can be tried, a former president can be tried for having committed these crimes. And now, though, Donald Trump is going back to his number one tactic, delay, delay, delay. So keep your eyes on that case, because what he's trying to do right now, his lawyers have asked for the Supreme Court to allow him to go back to that district court that said that you can be tried and have his case be heard by all the judges in that district court, that appellate court, not just by the 3-judge panel that had heard it. So that would delay things. If the Supreme Court said go there, that would delay things. And then ultimately it will end up at the Supreme Court. Or the best case would be if the Supreme Court said, we don't want to hear any of your crap, just go to trial. And that would be fantastic. Oh my God, can you imagine Donald Trump on trial for January 6th and the crimes that he committed behind closed doors? He knows he lost. He knows he lost. He's a shyster. And here he is trying to delay in the hopes that he will win the election and then could make all those cases go away. In which case, America loses. We're in a dictatorship and Donald Trump keeps winning. And who knows? Maybe they'll use some of these videos I'm making as evidence to throw me into a gulag. You never know. So keep your eyes on these court cases. And I don't know what's happening to these people that clearly are in a cult, that they believe that Donald Trump cares for them. He's convinced them by saying, they're coming after me because I'm protecting you. They're gonna, by coming after me, they would come after you. They wouldn't go after any of these people that we saw earlier in this video, because those people did not commit the crimes that Donald Trump committed. Don't commit a crime, you won't have to do the time. Commit a crime, do the time. I'm comedian Maz Jobrani. My special is on YouTube. It's called The Birds and the Bees. It's free. So you're on YouTube right now. Go put in The Birds and the Bees. Watch it. If you like it, leave a nice comment. Leave a super thanks. I appreciate you. If you don't like it, keep it to yourselves. Bye-bye.